Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Now Playing on GameSpot. I'm Kevin VanOrd, and seated next to me is Justin Haywald.
Hi guys.
And more importantly, over Skype, we have Jens Andersen with the DC Universe Online team. How are you?
I'm good. Nice to be here.
And we've got other folks on your team as well.
Yes, we do. You can see, you're standing next to us right now, so you can see the three other devs that we have here with us. We have Gilberto, who's obviously, unless he's completely misappropriately named, going to be our healer. This is Tunso on the forums, otherwise known as Mark Hallish, our lead systems designer.
Hello, everybody.
Hi.
And next to him, we have Drenz, who is also a systems designer. And he is going to be playing the new Rage power, although he'll be DPSing with it.
Hey everybody, and that's partially true. I'm playing Gadgets today. I was Rage yesterday.
Oh, are you? Oh, you faked me out, buddy. All right, so he's playing Gadgets today. He's our controller. And then we have Einsov over here, who is Matthew Johnson, is also was a systems designer at the beginning of DLC 9, War of the Light, and then moved over to content and is now a content designer on the team.
How's it going, guys?
Well, welcome. We're really glad to have you here. And obviously, we're seeing DC Universe Online. This is the PlayStation 4 version that I'm playing, and we are looking at what today?
Well, we're going to be looking at one of the operations that is in DLC 9, the War of the Light Part 1. Obviously, we announced we're going to be releasing trilogy DLCs from now on, and this War of the Light DLC trilogy begins with the Part 1 here you're going to see some of today, and over the next year or so, it's going to be releasing the second and third parts of the trilogy. So we have, in this DLC, we have several operations. There's an 8-man operation, and there's 2 4-man operations that you can do with your friends. You basically will be going in and out of the shared version of Metropolis and up onto some private instances as well, which is what our operation mechanics allow us to do, kind of weave in and out of public spaces and private spaces while on the same mission. So we'll be showing you this one that's a Strike Force version. It's going to be pretty fun.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to it. Now, for the viewers out there, I'm here more as a, lag behind and act as a camera. I might throw a punch here and there, but
if you have any questions, go ahead, throw those into the Twitch chat. We will be answering those live. One of the questions that we just got right now is, what is the level cap for this new expansion? Or this new content?
Well, that's a great question for Tunso, our systems designer.
Yeah, so the level cap, well, it's 85 to Q for the instance, but yeah, it's pretty much available to anybody who can do the tier 5 stuff.
Yeah, excellent.
So anyone who can do tier 5?
Or, I'm sorry, 84, right.
84.
Combat rating 84 required.
All right. Well, I am ready, as you can see. This is a great character you gave me, by the way. This guy with the cape. That's a great cape.
Okay. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. I lost everyone there for a second.
I like
All right, so we're going to queue up. Here we go.
Queuing up.
Yes.
We're just admiring capes.
I'm going to go into tank here. We have Drenz as our DPS, Gilberto as our healer, and Einsov as our controller. So your Gadget's DPSing. I even had it. Not only did I get that you're not playing Rage wrong, I got what your role was going to be wrong. Boy. All right.
Double fail.
Sorry, Drenz. Double fail for me. All right, so let me summon Fiddle Cup. All right, so
Boom.
This mission, basically the missions usually start off in one of the command centers on one of the planets that have moved into orbit around Earth. So for the War of the Light, all of a sudden it's a continuation of some of the storylines we had at launch, and also featured in Fight for the Light, our first DLC we put out. This actually takes that storyline to the next level, and you're going to go on into some new environments, one being Mogo, the sentient planet of the Green Lantern Corps, and we're inside him right now. We're in the crust, deep beneath the surface of Mogo, in the heart of Mogo, where you can see this command center here, which is the center of the heroes' command center of War of the Light. And you can see his big power ring here. This is Mogo's power ring. It's a giant ring. I guess this is kind of like, the One Ring. It scales up or down. The rings scale up or down depending on the wielder. So you see the giant ring here for Mogo, which is pretty cool. It's a great environment that our artists put together, and we'll explore more of it as we go through. the operations. Players, both heroes and villains, will be able to come to Mogo or Ranks, and also the public version of Metropolis that supports War of the Light. So let's get started here.
So one quick question as we're diving into it is actually aimed at Kevin. Some guys in the Twitch chat are asking, how do you like the PS4 version compared to the other ones you played?
It feels quite good. It runs really smoothly, more smoothly than the PlayStation 3 version. And it looks
well,
good.
That's a good sign. It's one higher, right? 3 to 4. So hopefully it'll run better. Go. Okay, so we're going to be teleporting over to Ranks. So don't zone through these areas if you can do me a favor. I'll pull you toward us. Otherwise, we end up doing. It's kind of weird that we have the 5th person here, and it could mess things up if you start zoning through the portals.
Yeah, I'm a 5th person in 4-person dungeons. So.
All right, here you go. All right, so now we have just teleported over to Ranks, the sentient city that's a member of the Green or the Sinestro Corps, and it's actually alive, and it's going to do everything in its power to stop us from achieving our objective, which will unfold as we go here.
Sinestro.
So we need to find data about some things that are going on in here and the vulnerabilities of Ranks himself, so we can execute this. This operation is called Strike Team. And the other one's more of an investigation where you're trying to figure out what's going on and why the War of the Light is happening in the streets of Metropolis and around Earth itself. And this one is more of a, part of the war itself, and you're battling all these different factions and groups in the War of the Light. We're introducing a new corps, the Blue Lanterns, which is really exciting. With Fight for the Light, we actually had Red Lanterns show up. And now we have Blue Lanterns, so we have 4 cores coming into the mix now. And you can see Ansov is actually taking these blink bombs. Blink bombs are a really powerful type of weapon that are found on Ranks. And he's been using them to destroy parts of the city, attack Mogo, and other Green Lanterns and Blue Lantern members. So we're actually trying to defuse these right now. We're destroying his power conduits with his own weapons. So as a tank, I'm going to try and just gather everybody up and keep the scene free here, so the other guys can go ahead and try and get these blink bombs to their destination.
So are there any new abilities for this expansion?
Well, there's the Rage powers, of course, which is a brand new power set. You can tank or DPS with them, and they're sort of inspired by the Red Lantern Corps, Atrocitus, Bleeze, Vice, and those guys. And as you would suspect by the name, they're very angry powers. They deal with anger and rage and things like that. And of course, they use the blood plasma puke that all the Red Lanterns can do, which is really cool. I like it a lot. It has a brand new mechanic called Rage Crash. Basically, the way you tank with this power, a lot of the tanking modes will have like shields or things like that, which will mitigate damage, or fire tanks, for example, will actually have healing mechanics where they can actually do damage to their opponents and get health back, and that will allow them to survive the fight. The Rage guys are really cool. They can basically, they take damage, but they instantly heal it, and when they activate this one power, which puts them into an enraged mode, lasts about 8 seconds. And for the duration of the power, any damage they take, they actually heal back instantly. At the end of the power, when it expires, all the damage they took is given directly back to them all in one shot. And that's called Rage Crash. And you have to mitigate that through various combos and abilities, or actually activating powers which can slightly mitigate it, or doing rage combos which will fully mitigate it. So there's a lot of strategy and tactics to playing a rage tank. It's not for the faint of heart, but it's very powerful, very fun.
Excellent. For the viewers out there that were asking about this, I'm not participating on purpose because
why don't you pull your weight, Fiddle Cup? What's up?
Yeah, I'm an unnecessary 5th person that doesn't want to break the instance by participating.
The very definition of the 5th wheel going on right here.
So I am here to be a camera of sorts to show you what's going on, and hopefully I will be a fine camera operator.
So you can see Einsov is obtaining various intel about ranks on these consoles. You can see him running around while we're fighting here and trying to get all of the information that we need to go on to the next part of this mission, the strike team. So we're doing an assault on, basically, we're in the Sinestro Corps' kitchen right now, and they do not like it, so they are swarming us.
This intel will go a long way towards defending Earth from the Sinestro Corps and ranks.
One of the things that's neat and new about DLC 9, I should say it's actually kind of getting reverse engineered back into the rest of the game, is that previously none of the bosses actually participated in the counter mechanic system. So it was a lot like kind of chopping trees, just, you know, hit point grind for them. But now we actually have, you know, bosses that are counterable, so you can, you know, do interrupts and block breaks and other kinds of things like that that will allow you to get an advantage in the fight.
Oh, neat.
So here we see Arkillo, and he's battling Guy Gardner. Ranks actually really has a grudge and hates Guy Gardner. So we thought it was really appropriate to add him in here as part of the storyline for the Ranks assault. And some of you might know from the comics that Guy Gardner actually has the ability of, he has a red ring as well, so he can actually become a Red Lantern. So we'll see if that pops up sometime during this operation.
One question that came up in the chat is there going to be any new content from the new 52?
Not really. I mean, we're kind of our own version of the DC universe. I would say that if we were close to a 52, it was probably the 52 mini-series. That's really kind of where we came into, started development. 52 is the mini-series I'm referring to, was in full swing, and we were kind of taking a lot of the sort of vertical slice of the universe from that time. But we've always really kind of maintained that we, you know, we're trying to be, blink bombs up, blink bomb, bombs. Sorry, gotta point out the blink bombs.
You're doing better than me. I think it's amazing that you can talk and describe all of this while playing, because I generally just, I don't say anything.
I'm sure that adept users watching the stream would probably say I'm not playing very well right now. Why aren't you popping your shield? Where's your debuff? But anyway, what I was saying was about, what was I saying? Oh my gosh, see, now I've fallen on my face as you complimented
52.
me. Yeah, 52. So even when we were, you know, kind of coming up with a story for the game and what part of the DC universe we were going to do, we knew that we weren't going to have certain things going on. Like Bruce Wayne was dead at the time, and Dick Grayson was actually acting as Batman. You know, we knew that we just couldn't, you know, have that happen in our version of the game. People would be like, where's Bruce? Why is, you know, Dick Grayson Batman? That's weird. So certain things we adopted, certain things we actually kept more, you know, toward things that were more traditional. And we're not going to be redesigning our game fully for the new 52 reboot. Obviously, that would be a lot to undertake.
That would be a lot of work.
Yeah, it would be just a little too much work. So what we try and do is like incorporate things in the new 52 as we move forward. You'll notice that, you know, we renamed Captain Marvel to Shazam in the game because that was something they wanted to make official in the... oh, now we're going to the Hall of Doom here, the next part of our mission. That was something they wanted to make official and match up in our game with the comics. We also added several styles to the game that were new 52 inspired. We added a Talon outfit, you know, Superman, something inspired by Superman's new outfit, Cyborg's new costume, a lot of stuff. Deathstroke's new costume got some love in our Prometheum lockboxes, but we're not really doing a major reboot or anything like that. Sorry, it's a long-winded answer, but there you have it. Thought I'd give you a little history lesson as we went through.
And so the villain in this expansion is the Sinestro Corps.
Well, no. The villain in this expansion, keep in mind this is a trilogy. So right now what's going on is we're in the middle of a war. These strange mists have appeared in Metropolis, and these mists are... Go ahead and interact with that, Trent. It's okay. These strange mists have appeared, and they're affecting people in different ways. So you can actually zone through this one if you want. Go ahead. Yeah, cool. They're affecting people in strange ways. So there's a crimson mist and an emerald mist and a topaz mist, an azure mist, all different colors, and they seem to be affecting people. The red mist is making people go get really angry and go into a rage. The green mist is making people really strong-willed. So they definitely have some kind of connection to the emotional spectrum. It was a direct fallout as to what happened with Brainiac in Fight for the Light. Something happened in Star Labs that caused this mist to appear. We don't really know what it is yet or what's going on with the mists. So that's the real mystery going on right now, pardon the pun. And it's drawn more of the cores, as we'll see when we go down into the city itself. You'll notice that there's Mogo and Ranxer in the sky. There's a whole bunch of fighting going on with various cores, blue, red, Sinestro Corps and Green Lantern Corps at this point. As the trilogy unfolds, I would, think it's safe to say that we will be introducing even more cores to the mix, and the story and the real villain will probably rear its ugly head toward the end.
So we're not going to know the real villain by the end of this expansion.
Yeah, I mean, definitely there's conflict going on right now. It's like age-old enemies. Green Lantern Corps fighting Sinestro Corps, Blue Lantern Corps siding with, the green. Red is really just kind of more neutral at this point. But as we add more cores, you're going to see those rivalries and those very familiar battles and conflicts arising. But here Lyssa Drac is our enemy right now. So, she's a servant and an ally of Sinestro. So really Sinestro is a major enemy right now. But something else is going on that even Sinestro, as the villains play through that content on their side, they're trying to figure out what the heck is going on here as well. No one's really necessarily suspecting the other side. They're just trying to make sure that they recover the mist, that, oh, Drenz, I'm sorry. My fault. I'll pay better attention and tank more appropriate.
So this might twist your DC knowledge a little bit. The Twitch chat is blowing up with, a lot of guys had seen the Green Lantern movies, and so they're familiar with Green Lanterns and Yellow Lanterns. Do you know all of the colors of Lantern? I'm kind of familiar.
I do.
Wait, can you describe?
So we have, in our game right
represent?
now, we have the Green Lantern Corps and the Sinestro Corps. That would be green and yellow, respectively. Those are actually servants of Will, the emotion of Will, which is the green light.
The healer from Case, by the way.
What? Oh, okay. We need to get you out of there. Gilberto, get out of there! No! And Will, obviously the yellow Sinestro Corps uses the yellow light of fear. We also have the Blue Lantern Corps making an appearance now, and they serve the blue light or wield the blue light of hope. In fact, you can see one right here fighting alongside us. We are actually freeing them from the armory, so you can see two blue lanterns here. And they spread hope throughout the galaxy, and they actually boost Green Lantern power rings. Not in our game, because players are using reservist rings, which is a completely new kind of ring for the Exobyte hero and villain. And we also have the Red Light of Rage being wielded by the Red Lanterns. They are in our game, whose leader Atrocitus, sometimes rival leader Bleeze, have made an appearance as well. Here's something I want to point out really quick before I continue with the various skittles of emotional spectrum cores. You can see Parasite here has actually been infused by the yellow mist, and has actually been called to help Lyssa Drac in this fight. And you can see him here. He's still in his normal outfit, but it's been turned yellow. He uses his parasite abilities along with the yellow light of fear. And you can see the aura that's around him, indicating that he's been taken over by the yellow mist and is completely driven by fear right now, using fear powers. So he's sort of been infused like an avatar almost of fear. And you'll see a lot of those iconics making appearances throughout the comic, or throughout the storylines of War of the Light. Some of them are bounties in the city, and others actually make appearances as bosses and sub-bosses like they are right here. So also going forward, you can probably expect to see the Star Sapphires, who wield the violet light, and they're from Zamaron, and will be led by Carol Ferris, aka Star Sapphire. And there's also Larfleeze, Agent Orange, who is wielding the orange light of avarice. He actually makes appearances in our Christmas seasonal event, tries to steal all the presents from and becomes Santa Claus, although he's bogarting all the presents instead of spreading them around. And then we have the Indigo Tribe, led by Indigo 1, and they're pretty cool in the comics. They use the Indigo Light of Compassion. Very cool backstory to those guys. I won't spoil it if you haven't heard about it.
Is
Now,
that
you can
something
see
that gets
here-
explained in the game? Like, if you didn't have this knowledge going in, would you just be completely lost and confused? Or does the game kind of help ease you into the DC lore?
Well, I certainly recommend that people pick up a comic book if they're playing DC Universe Online and read some stuff. There's some great stories out there, but obviously we do add collections in the game and player briefs and investigations, and you get to experience some of the lore in that. You'll learn about the various entities, the emotional spectrums, and the cores throughout the trilogy by finding and collecting these briefs and investigations. So if you look off to your to the northeast here, you'll actually see we are in this reskinned version of Metropolis, the War of the Light Metropolis, and you can see Mogo in the sky over there under assault by various lanterns, red and yellow. And if we actually go up on top of the building and look directly to the southeast, you can see ranks opposing him up in the sky. So there's this big kind of battle going on in the skies above Metropolis. Once in a while, there's so many various... You see it?
Yeah, we were actually marveling at how cool that looks.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Mogo's badass. So we were actually up on Mogo inside the cavern. So that's where we started. We started in that planet. And then we moved over, if you look to the right up in the sky, we moved over to ranks, and we were inside ranks. Now we're going to be doing some stuff down here in the city. Those were private instances. It was just the 4 of us, or the 5 of us, because we were having you tag along. But now you can see, like, around you, there's a lot more players in here. Some of these are real players just doing the operations right now. We have this released on for our legendary members, get early access. And so a lot of these players are experiencing the War of the Light content right now. All right, so we're going to head over to our next objective. I'm not sure where you went, but you obviously can't see the objective we're going to. So if you want to fly around the city, you can see the Crimson Mist. Head to the east of the building we started at. You can see Crimson Mist. You can see Topaz Mist in the streets. Anywhere you see those mists and there's people down below, they'll be affected by them in some way. And so this is the mystery we're trying to unfold right now. What are the mists? What are they doing here? What are they? What's going on with the emotional spectrum? Why is it fading right now? I'm going to summon you to me.
Yay!
With my.
I was so busy
awesome-
gawking in the air that.
All right, so we're going to take on this part of the content. We need to destroy some of Ranks' construct generators, which are actually spewing out dangerous constructs you can see right here into the area. And we need to revive injured Green Lantern corpsmen who have been injured in the war during the fighting. So we need to do some interacting with these various repeater objects to get them to be destroyed.
So, one question that we had in the chat was, is there any chance of seeing Jason Todd, a.k.a. Red Hood, making an appearance?
There's always a chance that you're going to see various characters from let's go south, guys. Various characters from DCUO. We have probably one of the largest rosters of iconic characters for a DC title that's ever been made. Many of them have never appeared in another piece of media other than DCUO. Outside the comics, of course, right?
Everybody go.
I'm up on top of the building, crushing everything with my amazing Earth Tank abilities.
Has there been an uptick in the popularity of the game after, the popularity of shows like Arrow and some other DC properties, Superman and the, upcoming Batman Superman movie?
I think that DC has its core fan base, and certainly those that enjoy games have, given our game a try, and many of them have become loyal players. I haven't noticed any particular correlation, like with, hey, Smallville ended, our members went down, or, I've never noticed anything like that in particular.
So people aren't playing along and, living out their own Arrow fantasy while they're...
They might be. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I've just never noticed, hey, the season of Arrow started and our memberships went up. No, it's more like, hey, PS4 released and or we went free to play, or we had a DLC come out, or a new major feature. That's usually when we see the most upticks in our interest in the game. But I'm sure that has had an effect on on things. And I'm sure that people watching Arrow are many of the people that post on the forums like, why don't we have a Green Arrow Legends character yet? When are you going to make a Green Arrow Legends character? I'm sure that person that posted that just finished watching the latest episode of Arrow. So that definitely fuels requests and people's imaginations that are playing the game for what's possible that could happen in the game, because the universe is so large and there's so many characters and stories that have been told that people just want to see so much.
And we have some people who haven't really been playing DC Universe Online. They're asking, do you have to be a hero in the game, or can you be a villain as well?
You can be a villain too. We have a very robust PvP system, which will allow you to play as a hero or a villain and compete against each other. We also have specific content that can be run by villains. Yeah, so we have a whole villain storyline. Actually, we have 6 mentors in the game that you get to start the game with, and basically choose at the beginning when you're doing character create who you want your mentor to be. The hero side has Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. The villain side has their nemesis, basically. So you can do Lex Luthor, Joker, or Circe. And they'll guide you through your journey to become a great hero or a great villain in the DC Universe Online canon. All right, we got one more construct generator to destroy and one more corpsman to rescue.
Feel free to pull me over to you wherever you are.
Oh, you're not with us?
No, I got sidetracked there for a second. It's hard to keep up when I'm not in the party.
Kevin, don't blink, okay? All right, here we go. Bringing you to us now. Wow,
Yay, thank you.
Just, describing what's going on, figuring you're here.
No, I was there we go. I was practically there.
Okay.
You're
so as
really
you can see right now, we're in the middle of a field of a cloud of topaz mist.
Yeah, it is important to note that I am a very vital member of this group.
Yes, if you had not been doing the scouting and the rear guard action you were just doing, we never would have gotten this far.
And again, for anybody just joining in, I'm just here I'm a fifth wheel here. I am here to just show you the action, but not participate, lest I break everything with my
incompetence. With gross incompetence.
Well, it's not so much about my incompetence as it is about the fact that I am immortal.
Yeah,
currently.
You're in God mode right now. You can say it. It's all right.
Yeah, I'm in God mode right now, so I can't.
So you could spam your abilities to forever, at no cost to you. Go ahead and give it a try. Let loose.
I'm gonna do a little summoning here.
Nice. Orbital strike. All right. So we have one more generator to get rid of. We got the last of the wounded corpsmen we needed to save. All right. Oh, one more. Ansov's got it.
So some people are asking, why are the guys in the in-game chat asking for trolls? Need troll for whatever. And
yeah, so troll, it's not like a troll that lives under a bridge, right? It's troll is short for controller in our game. And controllers have a variety of functions. In PvE, they'll give you back energy and power, which is the blue bar that you see underneath your green bar, which represents your health. And they kind of keep fueling your superpowers. And they also have a lot of CC and effects where they can lock down enemies through stuns and roots, and they can also debuff, do a lot of debuffing as well to make the enemies weaker or you more powerful.
We also
we need to travel to the next area, so we're going to go south from where we are right now.
So not directly related to the expansion, but one of our readers or listeners asks, what's been the best part about working on DC UO?
I think just really kind of exploring, being able to take the canon that's been out there and the stories and characters that have been out there for so many years and really exploring new uses for them and our own storylines and just being a creator in this universe. There's a lot of Legos to put together in different ways. And I just really enjoy coming up with new creative ways to, use the content. And I enjoy working with the team very much. Everybody's really enthusiastic about the things that we can do with all these great characters, and they put their hearts and souls into it. So it's a lot of fun to work on.
So were you a big comic fan before you started working on this, or?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So this didn't make you into the comic fan.
No. I when I was a kid, my parents would send me off to summer camp, a few weeks out of the summer, and actually in upstate New York, they would send me off to this YMCA camp called Camp Chingachgook, which is like, this character from Last of the Mohicans. I didn't know it at the time, but I was like, man, that's a complicated name. They couldn't have thought of a shorter name, but then I realized it was a literary reference. And so I used to go up there, and one time I was on the bus heading up there. It was this like 8-hour bus ride that I was on, and the bus stopped at this one town, and I found a bookstore that had like all these like old comics, and they were all DC comics, and they were like 10 for 10 cents, and I had $10 on me. So I just basically found like every single sequential run I could of Flash and Green Lantern and Green Arrow books, and just read them on the bus and all throughout the summer while I was up there. I don't think I really did any activities, and so I was like a huge Flash and Green Lantern and Green Arrow fan when I was younger. Really liked DC Comics, and then when I was getting a little more mature, I started getting into Marvel. Finding X-Men. This is like back when Jim Lee was really big at Marvel. And then they went off and split off and did Wildstorm, so I followed them for a while. And when I had the opportunity to, I actually worked on a Marvel Comics game for the third X-Men movie, and I had this opportunity to come down here and revisit my DC roots, and I just jumped at it. So, I've really read a lot of stuff throughout my life when it comes to comics. And this game has just given me an opportunity to really dive in like I didn't before. I mean, I'm working on the Marvel title, I was able to kind of get into it through the movie franchise perspective, but this actually is based on the comics themselves, which is just a much wider, larger sort of palette to explore.
Do you guys have a comics test when any new people come in? Like, do they really have to know their DC stuff?
No, to be honest with you, like we kind of did that when we launched the game. And I actually found that just because you knew DC Comics didn't necessarily make you a great, developer or addition to the team. Some of the guys who knew nothing about comics actually were the most creative, and coming up with ideas that were the most fun for the gameplay. So I think as long as you have a few people that are both competent and brand savvy, you can really. It's not a requirement to be a comic nerd to work on this. As long as you're collaborative and you follow the people's leads that do know a little bit about the brand and how to make your ideas really fit what you're trying, the game itself. All right, I don't know where my group went or if I'm even like doing the right thing right now, because you talked me up about being able to play and talk at the same time, but I'm actually just hitting anything that comes near me. I think we need more of these shield devices, and I'm just blindly spamming these guys that are respawning. Okay, Gilberto, lead us on, sir. I will follow you. Go, doggy. Run, doggy, run. Follow the dog. Oh, he's not a dog anymore. Never mind.
I need more power.
All right, dude, let's move away from here because we're just gonna get spawn camped. Okay, we're gonna go north. Here's a citizen. Do we need a citizen? No, we need more. Yes, actually, we do need the citizen. Last one.
You're quite
All right, so we protect him with a shield. He's happy, ready to go home with his wife beater on and lay down the law.
He's kind of invincible now. That would be awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
Someone give you an invincible bubble.
All right, now we got to go to the JSA headquarters. This is going to be a cool fight coming up here. So this whole time, this has been Guy Gardner has been messing with Ranks, and Ranks is pissed, and he's been sending down all these orbital strikes. So you can see Ranks in the sky up there to the southeast, and you see the orbital strikes coming down that he's like hitting the city with. Every once in a while, you'll see a big laser come down and a huge explosion. Got to stay away from those. All right, we're going to head over to the northwest here.
Ah, where'd he go?
I'll summon you. I'm moving northwest, though, if you want to start heading that way.
I know where more or less northwest is, so I...
Okay. I'm at the entrance. Here, let me summon you here.
Yay.
Kind of at the entrance. I'm over here. Okay. We're going to go into the JSA headquarters. This is their mansion. Or brownstone, I should say. The back way in. You with us?
You'll need
Yeah.
to pull me in. I
Okay.
have no prompt.
You don't seem to be grouped up with him anymore. Were you-
No, I don't think I was ever actually grouped
You
up.
never was.
No.
This operation is for 4 people. Did you come in? Did it work?
I've just got a loading screen. I'm almost there, hopefully.
Oh, okay. All right.
Although Wonder Woman is looking quite beautiful.
She's
Yes.
lovely.
Yes, her and Power Girl are always nice, lucky load screens. As opposed to, like, Scarecrow and his ugly burlap face.
I'm here now.
So who do you guys get to do the art for the stills in between the game?
That was done by one of our concept artists, and we've got some more, I think, that we haven't really put up in the loading screens, which we could get to. But yeah, he's actually a really talented artist named Mike.
Is there a lot of collaboration between you and the comics teams?
We pretty much, there's definitely a great partnership with WB. We work with DC Comics and some of the producers over there, and they certainly approve everything that we do. But we really try and come up with a lot of the storylines and develop what we know would work for the game, and then we pitch the ideas to them, and they approve or ask us to change things, and we just move on with the development. It was a lot closer in the beginning when we launched the game, but since then we've really moved on and kind of become a well-oiled machine here.
Yeah, I'd imagine you kind of know to anticipate what they're going to say. And
Oh yeah, you learn a lot about people over almost 9 years. Right? And I say that we're on our 3rd year. We just had our 3rd year anniversary, but keep in mind we were developing the game for over 5. So it's certainly been 8 years that we've been working with them.
is there anything they've loosened up on that, like, maybe you wanted to do at the beginning, but now you're able to, but you weren't able to 3 years ago?
Well, yeah, if you look at my character right now, you'll notice that there's a Green Lantern emblem on the armor. So that was a very touchy subject for a long time, particularly because we were releasing around the time the Green Lantern movie came out. They knew that was under development. So they were very, very, very protective of the Green Lantern IP. And players have never been able to wear a Green Lantern emblem before, and now with War of the Light, this is the first time we're actually able to give them that. And they get a Sinestro Corps emblem, a Green Lantern emblem. They can wear a Red Lantern Corps emblem as well. So a lot of really cool additions. Yeah, they've definitely. I think it was at first we were working with comic book creators and. Not even necessarily folks over at WBIE. We were working directly with DC Comics for the most part, and they'd never made an MMO before. Certainly never had this kind of experience with their titles, their characters, and so we had a lot to learn about what they like to do with their characters, what their sort of sacred cows are, and they had a lot to learn from us in terms of like how you pull a game like this off. It's very different from telling a story in a comic, and so it's been a great partnership. I think we've all learned from each other and really understand each other now, and things usually go off without a hitch. We can anticipate, like you said, what they're going to say about stuff, so we always come up with the ideas that we think are great for the game and our players, and that they're going to approve.
Has there been anything that you really wanted to get across, but you still haven't quite convinced them yet?
Yes, a green aura.
A green aura?
Yes, you can see Arissa Robb here has a green aura around her. We added light powers a long time ago, and we have always wanted to put a green aura in the game because people want to kind of look a little more lanternish, or even like nature characters who have a lot of green effects don't get to have a green aura, which is unfortunate. So we've been working with them on getting something like that into the game, but it's again another thing that was really touchy for a long time, and I don't blame them for this, by the way. I think it's smart on their part. They're trying to protect their characters and protect their brand, and so they want to make sure that the Green Lantern iconic character is the coolest looking Green Lantern kind of thing in the game. And so we can't use the same exact assets that we have on the characters like Guy Gardner and Arisa or Jon Stewart, because then it would just infringe on their coolness, right? You always want, like, Superman should be the tippy top of the top of coolness.
So DC Universe Online is the first DC MMO, but it's not the first superhero MMO.
That is true.
And I'm kind of curious, outside of the obvious things like the setting and the characters and the story and so on, what was it that you really wanted to do with DC Universe Online?
Check this out. Check this out.
Okay.
Then we'll get back to your question. What?
Whoa! That's
right.
not green.
No, it's red. So a guy's an angry guy sometimes. So he just got sort of overwhelmed with rage, and yeah. Now, so anyway, your question was? Sorry.
No, I'm just wondering, like, outside of the obvious things like the setting and so on and so forth, what were the things that you wanted to do to really make sure that you were setting yourself apart from other superhero MMOs?
Well, we're really a true action game. We have Trey abilities, but they're really more of things that you do, like superpowers, to accentuate, your character's abilities and represent whatever power they are. But our players are very connected with your character. You can hit the button, do various combos. When you hit the button, your character reacts. It does the move. You have active, evading and things like that, block counters and a very deep counter mechanic system. You see, like, Guy Gardner just countered Ansoff and myself because he was blocking and we did a heavy melee attack. He just did a feint, which if Drenz had actually held down block, would have been able to counter himself. So we have this active counter system, which is very unique. I would say our combat system really feels more like an action game than it does an MMO, and we felt that was really important and something that wasn't in the market at the time and would be a very good point of difference for us. And we have Batman.
Well, sold.
Yeah, exactly. And Joker, and Superman, and Wonder Woman, and Green Lantern, and Flash. It's like the list goes on and on and on.
And I will say it's kind of nice, especially not so long ago. I did an interview with some of the voice actors for your game.
Yeah, did you get to talk to James Marsters or Lex Luthor?
I didn't actually, but I did talk to Susan.
Okay, yeah, she just recently reprised the Wonder Woman role. She's awesome.
Yeah, and it's nice because then when I go back and I watch, say Justice League Unlimited, when you hear some of the same voices, it gives that much more continuity to the experience.
Cool.
It's like, yeah, this really is Wonder Woman.
Hey, here's Saint Walker, by the way. Leader of the Blue Lantern Corps, making his first appearance in the game. He's now purging Guy of the Rage. Uh-oh, okay, we got Bleeze, which is a Red Lantern, and this is the interesting thing we were talking about before. I was mentioning Parasite showed up. This is Bruno Mannheim. He's he's like a intergang gangster character, and he actually has been infused by the Red Light of Rage. The Crimson Mist has gotten inside of him, and you can see now he's gone kind of berserk. He's all yoked out now. He's got the cool Red Lantern symbol burned into his chest. It's pulsing like a heartbeat. You can see the red mist aura around him. So he's not really quite himself right now. And of course, Bleeze also making an appearance. She's a Red Lantern that was introduced in the comics by Jeff Johns. She's coming into the fold here. She's a really cool character. She's actually the Red Lanterns are interesting. The reason we have like the red powers, the rage powers for both heroes and villains, is because they're really kind of a neutral force. They're not about good and evil. They're not about morals. They're just really about vengeance and retribution. So you'll notice like sometimes they'll just come and they're horribly violent, but oftentimes they're, dealing out justice as often as they are doing something that's completely, evil or atrocious. So it depends on the context of the situation. Her character is very interesting. The reason she was chosen to be a Red Lantern is because she comes from a race that had these almost like angels, and they had this blue skin. They were very beautiful, and they had these feathery white wings. And she was assaulted and had her wings ripped off, and she cried out for vengeance. And a red lantern or a red ring answered her. She was inducted into the Red Lantern Corps, and she actually keeps the bones of her wings, kind of wrapped on or attached to her back. So it's kind of gruesome. You can see her over here now taking a knee with her bony.
I decided to help
wings
with a little ice. That's it. That's
nice.
all. That's all I'm doing. Otherwise, I'm just gonna come over here.
And Bruno's down as well.
In the Twitch stream, one of our one of the fans asks, is the work that you do mostly on the back end, or is it in-game content, or?
Gardener is stable for now.
Me personally?
You personally.
Well, I'm the creative director, so I basically kind of come up with the vision for the DLCs or for various, kind of systems and things that we're going to put into the game and how it's going to fit in for our players. And then, we have systems designers and content designers, Drenz and Gilberto. Drenz is actually Andrew Bushman's forum name. Gilberto is actually Tunso, our lead systems designer. As I said, these guys will interpret that from the design side and do all the statistical stuff and work with the systems, making various powers like Rage or Legends characters and things like that. Various systems you would see in the game, like the R&D system. And, then we have engineers that will actually code all that stuff up. Ansoff is actually a member of the content team, so he actually worked on a lot of these bosses like Bruno Mannheim that you saw here, and the fear version of Parasite.
Is that what he looks like in real life as well?
Yes, he walks around with this outfit on. It's kind of scary. Although he does the whole underpants on the outside thing, just to be a little more like Superman.
It's funny, you do that sometimes too, Justin.
I do.
It's not a good look.
Yeah,
it's comfy though.
Well, I don't know. It depends. Some people can pull it off. If you got the abs, you can pull it off. I personally don't do any coding. I've definitely built stuff in the game before, but it's mostly content stuff. I'm not a numbers guy, so Tunso would probably fire me if I was on his team. But I can handle my own in content. And definitely just kind of more of an idea person. And of course, we have a whole team of artists that build all these wonderful environments that you see around you, character models and things like that. So that was the extent of the operation. We just finished it.
Hooray!
Cool.
Yay!
I was amazing. I sat back and watched with more aplomb than I bet you anybody expected I would.
Well, we were impressed by your ability to stay out of the way. It was amazing.
Yeah, I've been practicing actually. For this very moment.
By the way, if you want to actually, or say player investigation, you can actually probably get some information if you interact with that.
And is this content available now, or is it coming out really soon?
It's out right now for our legendary players. They get early access, and then we haven't announced the full date yet for when it's coming out for the rest of the players to purchase.
Oh yeah, thanks for the reminder. I forgot that this isn't there yet for everybody, but it is for many.
No, it's there for legendary. So people that are legendary can get early access to it right now. So if you're not legendary and you want to play War of the Light Part 1 right now, sub up.
Yeah, you should be legendary. I feel pretty legendary
exactly.
after playing that, but it just could be because they put me in God mode. But now, see the thing is, now I want to play play a bunch of DC Universe Online. It's been too long, and so
good. Come back to us. It's a lot of fun. We've added a lot to the game, over the many DLCs, and this last year has been tremendous for us. Not only with the PS4 launch, we completely revamped the leveling curve and the reward systems and things like that. So players are going to find. Leveling up their characters if they're a new player or just want to make it alt just to be really smooth and nice now. When you get into the end game and you're doing a lot of the instances, you'll be seeing just a great experience from the loot perspective as well, thanks to a lot of feedback from our players. And you can see, are you in the command center right now?
I am.
Yeah, you can see like Hal and Saint Walker and all of the really cool iconics, kind of going in and out of here, and these are all players. These are all legendary players right now that are enjoying War of the Light Part 1 right now on the live servers.
Excellent.
See if there's anybody I recognize. The Marvel New Order. He's in the wrong game. Okay. Here you go.
Well, Jens, to you and to everybody else, I really appreciate you taking the time to lead us through the new DLC. Is there anything that we missed that you think is important to throw out there before we say
well,
good
certainly
afternoon?
We didn't see everything, right? I mean, we've got the Rage powers, which are really fun. They can tank DPS. We've got all the bounties of the Misted iconics that you've seen. There are a ton of those. I think there are 16 of them in total. We've got the reskinned Metropolis, which we explored a little of. We only did one of the 4-man operations. There's 2 4-man operations and an 8-man operation for heroes, and the same on the villain side. Each one has its own kind of narrative and characters and story that are driving you through it. So there's a lot of content here to explore. We have various styles as well. I'm wearing the Green Lantern one. There's a Sinestro Corps one on Drenge. You can see the new the Red Lantern inspired ones as well. Nobody in our group has those on right now, but there's just a lot of stuff for people to enjoy, and I think people are going to be really happy with War of the Light. We're looking forward to getting to the other two parts of it later on down the road.
Yeah.
Well, that's really awesome. Thanks so much for joining us. Thanks to everybody on your team, and of course, thanks to everybody out there for tuning in, whether it was on GameSpot, Twitch, YouTube, wherever you watch from, and also thanks to Justin Haywald for monitoring.
Thank you guys for having us on.
Absolutely.
That was really cool to see.
Yeah, and I'm sure that I'll be seeing you real soon, Jens, for one thing or another.
Right on.
So until then, thanks for joining us on another episode of Now Playing, and we'll see you later.